Hey there everypony, Ultramag64 here. This week we got another new episode called Bats, and I'm here to tell you my first impressions of it. So this episode opens up with AJ having a bit of a bat problem in her orchard. Now, we've seen her have a fruit bat problem, however these are different. These are vampire fruit bats that actually suck the juice from the apples and spit out the seeds. How is this a problem, you ask? AJ don't like it! So this begins the problems I have with this episode, and I love this episode. And I don't want to start off on bad notes, but I have to get these out of the way because they've been bugging me ever since I've watched this episode. AJ, Twilight, what are you guys thinking? I mean, seriously. During the song, which is a fantastic song by the way, thank you, Danny, for making a tribute to Nightmare Before Christmas music and stuff like that. That's amazing, thank you. But what were you guys thinking? I mean, seriously, Fluttershy basically, her logic is infallible in this. I mean, honestly, the minute she said they make stronger and more productive apple trees, AJ should have been like, wait, what? Seriously? You're thinking in the here and now and not in the future. She can't see the forest, or excuse me, the orchard from the apple trees. And then let's talk about Twilight. Twilight actually sides with Applejack. For what reason? What logic, Twilight, do you see in this? Fluttershy plainly states this is actually a good thing. And Twilight's just like, no, it's not. No, not gonna listen to you, no. Now, I'm not saying necessarily bad things. She can have her own opinions, but really? I mean, come on. Even I was like, what's the problem here? Another thing I have to think is, okay, Twilight, did you learn nothing from Swarm of the Century or Bridal Gossip? Because she tried the same exact thing in Swarm of the Century. She tried to use a spell to make them, hey, Parasprites, stop eating stuff. Hey, bats, stop eating stuff. This'll work, right? No, it doesn't work that way, Twilight. And even if it had worked perfectly the way they wanted it to, how in Equestria are those bats going to survive? You just killed off an entire species. Because, oh hey, maybe that's their only source of food! Come on! Am I the only one who thought of that? It's just like, okay, Twilight, thanks. You guys just killed an entire species of bat. Good job. And that's pretty much the only bad thing I can say about this episode. Everything else, I liked. I love that Fluttershy turned into a bat, because I'm batty about bat ponies. There was a pun in there, and I'm not gonna point it out because you should probably already know it. Point is, I love bat ponies, and I am so pumped that they added bat ponies into this thing. They're now canon, even though they were technically already canon from Luna's guards. And that also brings up a certain point. So is Fluttershy gonna turn into a bat every night on a full moon or something like that? Like a werewolf? Or is she just gonna turn into a bat every night? You have to wonder this because that cliffhanger of a ending, which I'll show because anyone who's watching this had better have watched the episode. If you're not, then sorry, spoilers. That's the third time this has happened, Studio B. Either tell me that you're gonna keep doing this stuff and have it included in another episode down the line, or don't do it at all, because you're getting my hopes up for things that are awesome. And it's making me very sad, because you're making my hopes too high here. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, Fluttershy's gonna turn into a bat again, yay! Because I love her design. The animation of her whole thing as a bat was awesome. Like, the animation was so good with her. It worked. It worked. That's all I can say. I'm gushing about Flutterbat. I'm sorry, but it worked. So let's talk about that song. That song was really good. Cause Nightmare Before Christmas, I almost said Nightmare Before Moon. That'd been weird. But I'm a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and that song paid tribute to that, and it made me so happy. It was a good song, and granted, I had to listen to it a few times to be like, you know what, hey, wait a minute, this is Nightmare Before Christmas. Holy cow, this song just got better. Because originally, I honestly didn't like the song. I'm sorry, Danny, but the thing I kept getting hung up on was they're talking about killing an entire race of bat. I was like, I like this song, but I just can't get over the fact that they're talking about killing bats. And another thing that also bugged me was Twilight, again, siding with Applejack when logic is abundant in Fluttershy's universe. But that, I got over it and then was like, this song is so good. So, there you go, that song is good. But other than that, there really isn't much like I have wrong with it, besides the whole speed spiel that I had and tangent I had earlier, that's about it. I mean, honestly, this episode is probably one of my favorites, because Flutterbat, the lesson was really good. It actually had two or three kinds of lessons. I can't remember if there was a third. There was one about, hey, you know, there's different sides to things. There was, you should always think before you go and kill a species. Like, if, say, you have rats in your house, maybe instead of just using rat traps, you should, you know, buy ones that keep them alive and then release them, because they're just doing their thing. You know, you wouldn't like it if you got killed for doing your thing. There you go. And the third lesson was don't give in to peer pressure, which is a good lesson to learn, because a lot of people still do it. But anyway, guys, that's about gonna do it for this episode. It was really good. This is one of my top ones for Season 4 so far. But anyway, guys, I'm Ultramatic64. Remember, stay brony, my ponies. And as always, happy gaming.